Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Kerim Sener, who's Managing Director at Ariana Resources. Hi today, Kerim.
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Very well. We haven't spoken for quite some time, many years. It seems to be that you've made some progress in the interim. Quite a few different things you've got going on at the moment. First one, probably the merger with Rockover. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Yes, so a very exciting development. It's a major project, the Dokwe project in southern Zimbabwe, not too far from Bulawayo. It contains about 1.3 million ounces of gold in resources, largely in measured and indicated. So about 95% of the total resources are in those higher categories of JORC. There is a reserve, a mineral reserve that was defined in a 2022 pre-feasibility study. That pre-feasibility study, in fact, we've updated some of the economic parameters and we announced that just the other week. So it demonstrates a very substantial opportunity for the company. We're looking forward to completing the merger with Rockover Holdings in the course of the next month or so, and then rapidly advance into a full feasibility study, because we believe that this is an opportunity that's sort of poised for immediate development.
And in terms of, a lot of people have been following Ariana for many years. They might be sort of raising an eyebrow or two, thinking, well, why can't you just go it alone at this stage, as you have been doing for many years already?
Well, actually, we haven't so much gone alone over the last several years. If investors remember, we partnered up originally in 2010 with Presea Construction, a Turkish gold and silver processing plant EPCM contractor. That partnership brought in $8 million cash into a joint venture company that we established on a 50-50 basis. We then advanced that project through pre-feasibility into feasibility, the associated environmental impact assessment, and onward into permitting. And then once that was complete, we were able to move straight into construction and got the Kızıltepe mine operational in 2017. And that mine's been operating very successfully for the last 7 years. So much so that we haven't had to come back to the market. We haven't tapped the market for 7 years. And more recently, we brought in a third party into the JV, Özaltın Holdings, and we did so in early 2021. So in effect, we partially divested out of our operational stake at the Kızıltepe deposit. They took 53%, and our other partners, Presea Construction, also diluted to 23.5%, and that's the level that we're at as well, although Presea Construction remain the operating partner. And the idea of that was to bulk out the mineral resource development opportunities. So we brought the Sullenbusch project into that framework, with Özaltın Holding contributing a further $8 million of cash into the project entity to push that project through pre-feasibility and onward. And in addition to that, it gave us the opportunity to start the development of the Tavşan mine. So that's our second mine in Turkey. So we have one producing mine, Kızıltepe, still going, although it is nearing the end of its mine life now. And then we'll be bringing the Tavşan heap leach operation on stream later this year. But bearing in mind that actually we're already producing gold from Tavşan in a sense, because we're trucking some of the high-grade ore from the Tavşan deposit to the Kızıltepe plant, because that plant is conducive for a higher recovery, because it's a carbon and leach operation. So both sites are actually operational, although the heap leach at Tavşan will come on stream a little later.
And you also announced your intention to dual list on the ASX. I presume that's part of the motivation there is, I suppose, greater liquidity than London. Anywhere has greater liquidity than London, but also maybe the Australians will value you more than your current £32 million.
I think undoubtedly, if you look at the way that, particularly in our sector, gold mining, gold exploration, companies tend to be better valued on the ASX. And that's in part perhaps due to improved levels of understanding of mineral resource development opportunities, Australia being a very much resource dependent economy. There's a lot of investment obviously going into that sector specifically. So there's a certain savviness about it. And also with respect to Zimbabwe, a number of very successful Australian companies have operated in Zimbabwe for a number of years. And you know, the standout is Zimplats, operating on the Great Dyke for platinum group element metals, and also Prospect Resources that was very successful with a lithium deal a couple of years ago. So there have been those successes associated with the ASX in Zimbabwe, and that's certainly something that we want to tap into.
So you've announced the intended merger. What are the other things that maybe people can look forward to now that we may have that deal in place?
Yes, well, we've got a pipeline of news, and that's associated with really the work that we've been undertaking over several months now, associated with the due diligence program that we've had running on Dokwe. So we've had our operational team on site in Zimbabwe for a long time. We've been reanalyzing all the drill core, which has been maintained in a fantastic form at the base camp there. We've also drilled 4 of our own holes, 2 into the Dokwe North deposit, 2 into Dokwe Central, and the assay results of those we're receiving now, and we'll be announcing the assay results of those holes. We've already announced one set of results along with the merger announcement. From there, we're rebuilding the mineral resource estimate. So that's work in progress, but we're not too far off from completing that. And once we've completed the new MRE, we'll be integrating that into a further revision of the pre-feasibility study. So the prior revision, I do stress it was just an economic model revision based on a higher gold price, and then looking at the CPI and Rand US dollar exchange rate to see what differences that those might make on the CapEx and OpEx. And that's what we announced just the other week. This further revision will be a formal re-optimization of the new mineral resource estimate, and then from there a further revision of the economic model. So that's going to take further time, but there'll be various staged announcements in relation to the revisions to the PFS.
And just finally, with all this activity going on, do you think that Ariana could eventually be a mid-tier producer?
I do indeed. That's very much the pathway that we've set the company out on. And, you know, we're navigating these various projects across Turkey. We've obviously got some other project interests in Southeast Europe, both in Kosovo and in Cyprus. And now we're taking on the Dokwe project. But Dokwe, in its own right, I mean, given the scale of the project opportunity, plus 1 million ounce resource, and we believe there's an opportunity to eventually secure and convert those resources into a 1 million ounce reserve. So that's what we're targeting. And once we've achieved that and demonstrated that there's a pathway to creating a mining opportunity that might be producing up to 100,000 ounces per annum over a 10-year mine life, that's really starting to bring us into that sort of mid-tier category. So we've got a very clear strategy of what we want to do with the company, and Dokwe will very much take the lead in that.
Kerim Sener, Managing Director at Ariana Resources, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.